Hi, my name is Brett Martin with Mom and Pop Business Funding. I want to let you know we've got a podcast we're bringing out. We won't have that logo back there at my home office or at my other offices. What we'll have is a logo that says Merchant Cash Advance Talk. And that's going to be the name of the podcast, Merchant Cash Advance Talk. My first two guests are going to be a guy by the name of Robert St. Cyr from Velocity. And in addition, he's been with a couple other companies over the years since I first met him. I think I met Robert probably back in 2008 or 2009. And then another special guest that I'm going to have back to back on my first two podcasts is a gentleman by the name of Gary Lockwood that's also from the industry and owns his own company. And when I first met Gary, I met him in 2010, and at the time he was with a company called Amera Merchant, which was a great company at the time. Kind of sad to see them go. But anyway, the long and the short of it is, this podcast is going to be positioned towards people from other companies, people from within the industry, to include not only CEOs and presidents or regional or national sales managers, but also special guests from the funding departments and underwriting departments, so that they and I can talk about what they're looking for in files. And in addition, we're going to be talking to industry leaders like a gentleman who is in charge of what I call the index of the industry, which for all intents and purposes allows you, or maybe the library of the industry as a combination, the index and the library of the industry, which most of you are incapable of finding because you basically got to know the name of the company. So he's going to be a very special guest, but I've got tremendous number of guests lined up right now. I've got a total of 59 that want to be part of the platform and the podcast. So I'm way out ahead of, what I'm looking at down the road. We're not going to have a lack of content, but I just wanted to make you aware that we're going to be talking about merchant cash advances in general and the construct of them, when the industry was founded. I've got some feelers out there right now in the industry, and I'm doing my damnedest to get a hold of Barbara and Gary Johnson, who founded the industry in 1997, 1998, with a very famous company called Advanced Me at the time. Now they're called Can Capital. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this podcast. I'm sure that a lot of you are also. Excuse me, I need a drink. I think a lot of you know that are from the industry that I had cancer and I don't produce saliva. But anyway, yeah, the nice thing about it won't be a one-man show. The screen will be split, just like a Joe Rogan podcast. The nice thing about it is we're not going to be using microphones. We will not be using microphones like so. We're just going to use the microphones and the cameras that are on our computers. And one of the things I'm also going to do is we've decided that we are not going to edit these and put in fake backgrounds and, work on the lighting and all this shit. Because the bottom line, what I want you to do is be in a situation where you can feel the love in the room as opposed to, the falsities that go on when you're putting together podcasts which I see so frequently. So I don't want the pizzazz to be all the background and the bells and the whistles. I want the pizzazz to come from, the guest in the room, because the quality of these people, I can tell you, is out of this world. I mean, we're going to be talking to people that are making millions of dollars a year. We're going to be talking to people who are making, 50,000 a year, 175,000 a year, 200,000 a year, those type of people. So you're going to meet all walks of life, and importantly enough, you're going to meet not just me, the CEO of Mom and Pop Business Funding, but the CEO of a multitude of companies in this industry, so that you can really get an idea of the size and the magnitude of the industry, and the exciting things that are going on within the industry. There's been a lot of change throughout the years since I first came into the industry in 2007, and I could tell you there's a lot of change going on, and it'll be nice to have these, what they call FinTech, FINH, company leaders on the podcast. And in addition, on an ongoing basis, we will be making people aware of when the upcoming shows are from a convention standpoint. So if there's a convention going on in your area soon, you can get to one of those conventions and see what it's like to be, part of the industry and hear guest speakers and so on. So anyway, just want to thank you so much for listening in. If you've listened this far, today is January 22nd. It's 1:47 p.m. And we will start next week with my two first guests, again, Gary Lockwood and Robert St. Cyr. I can tell you folks, I have been in the worst conditions on the face of the planet with these two men, and the best conditions, and their boat never gets rocked. They're top-notch people in this industry, but more importantly, they're just top-notch people in general, and it should be a lot of fun. Format is going to be loose. We're not going to be in a situation where there's a bunch of questions written down on hell, I'm using an envelope here, but anyway, you get my point. I'm not going to have a question and answer period where it's like question number 1, question number 2 for Robert or for Gary, question number 3, question number 4, question number 5. It's just going to be one of those loose-knit environments, probably for all intents and purposes. I mentioned Joe Rogan earlier. Just that type of podcast where we're just going back and forth with the split screen, them in their office, me in my office. They're remote, I'm remote. They're at the other end of the world, wherever they're at in their lives and with their companies. I'm in this area in Southern Oregon, and, it should be a ball. They're not going to be in my studio. I don't see this growing to that point, but at the same time, it should be riveting, and it should be entertaining, and there should be some knowledge that you'll be able to gain from it. So thank you so much for joining us. Look for this next week again. Today is the 22nd, Thursday, Friday the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. So it'll be the week of the 26th of January when we break this out. So watch for those first two to come out next week. So thank you so much again for listening, if you listen this long, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye now.